Hello?
Downtown Alton Brown. It's been forever. How's eats?
Well, who is this?
Oh, A.B., it's Sid. Don't tell me you forgot what we did for Sweet Potato. He's huge thanks to us.
Yeah, I remember Sweet Potato. How's that working out?
He's a bum. 6 months tops and he'll be back to dinner theater.
Huh. He dumped you, didn't he?
Forget that tuber. I've got my sights set on a brighter star, a mega star, the biggest flavor on the block. His recognition factor is off the charts, and he's playing every pantry in the country as we speak.
What?
But he has an image problem.
Oh, bad boy, huh?
I wish. This guy's image is squeaky clean. Even his biggest fans think he's straightforward, solid, dependable, bland, plain, boring.
Vanilla?
Oh, you know his work. Of course you do. You're the man. See, we both know my client is one fat pod daddy. But he needs a makeover, a new direction, a comeback trail. And I think, nay, I know you're the man to blaze it.
But vanilla doesn't need me. It's one of the most exotic, spectacular, singular flavors on the planet.
Oh, A.B., baby, you're preaching to the choir. But you know what it's like when the congregation loses interest.
No, I don't.
I hope you never do. But when you're on that long, lonely slide down, Vanilla is the kind of solid culinary player who you can count on to be there, to soften the blow.
Well...
Fantastic! I'll have a contract over in an hour. Let's make magic. Ciao, baby.
Contract?
It's Sid. You'll never guess whose show I got you a shot on. You, my shriveled brown friend, are going to be on...
For those of you who believe that vanilla is just a boring, staid, everyday kind of spice, I offer this fun fact. Of the 20,000 or so orchid varieties that are growing their curious little lives tangled up out here in the tropics, only one produces food for us, the vanilla orchid. Now, it's not unusual for the vines to climb 100 feet up into treetops just so the flowers can see the sun. There she is. That is a vanilla blossom. But in order to put on fruit, that blossom must be pollinated. And this is pretty tricky because it's only available for reproduction 1 day out of the year. And there are only two known natural pollinators. One is a very small stingless bee called Melipona, and the other is a pretty rare variety of Central American hummingbird, which I feel certain doesn't really look anything like that. So if these two natural agents aren't available, the job has to be done by hand, and it is a tedious task indeed. If the miracle of pollination does occur, pods, or what we call beans, will grow on the vine to full size, generally in about 6 weeks. Let's have a look. There we go. There's some. Now, even though these are full grown at, well, almost 6 inches, some can grow up to 12 inches depending on the weather. But even once they're full grown, they have to stay on the vine to mature for up to 9 months. And even then, they're still culinarily useless.
Like chocolate, coffee, and tea, vanilla beans have to be cured before they are of any culinary use whatsoever. Step 1, a nice hot bath. Step 2, spread the beans out on a blanket in the midday sun and let them sit all day long. When night comes, roll them up in that blanket and let them just sweat it out through the long evening. Repeat this process every single day for 3 to 4 months. And then one morning you'll wake up and lo and behold, you're going to have yourself cured vanilla beans or pods. Although vanilla is commercially grown all over the tropics and subtropics from Hawaii all the way to New Guinea, there are 3 classic growing zones, starting with Tahiti. Now, this very, very small, very isolated island actually has its own unique variety. It's called Vanilla tahitensis, I believe, and the beans are very kind of delicate looking and extremely fragrant. That's why a lot of folks think they're the cream of the crop worldwide. I happen to think that their flavor is a little bit vanilla, though, and I don't mean in a good way. Not true of Mexican beans. Mexican beans I love. Now, this is the common vanilla planifolia variety, but look at them. I mean, they're fat, they're oily. These things remind me of Cuban cigars. They are right down funky. The problem with Mexican beans, though, is getting a good quality supply. They're very erratic, and you never, ever want to use vanilla extracts from Mexico because they are often processed with parts of the tonka bean, a filler which tastes like vanilla but actually contains some rather dangerous carcinogens. Now, 70% of the vanilla that is gotten here in America actually comes from over here, Madagascar. Now, these are technically the same beans as in Central America. That's because they were transplanted here in 1840, okay? Now, oddly enough, these beans are often referred to as bourbon vanilla beans, and the reason for that
is because the island in question used to be called the Isle of Bourbon because it was discovered during the time of the House of Bourbon, which ruled France off and on until 1848.
Okay.
Have you told them about the crystals?
No, I haven't told them about the crystals yet.
And have you told them that those green pods you showed them before are really string beans from the market?
No, I haven't told them.
Think you should?
Well, green vanilla pods are really expensive. They're really hard to get, and the string beans look a lot like them. Thanks for bringing it up, Deb.
Aren't you going to ask me how I like my vanilla?
No, you hurt my feelings. No matter where your beans come from, quality is going to be an issue, and it's your responsibility. And one thing you can do is always buy them from reliable vendors. I usually buy mine from the internet. Don't buy them from the Mega Mart because you just don't know how long they've been sitting around on those shelves. And when examining a bean, well, it's tough to tell what's good and what's bad, considering they're all shriveled up little brown things. But what you don't want to see is brittleness, okay? This is leathery, but it's still pliant, okay? That is a good sign. Now, if you want to check yourself for very, very, very high quality, you're going to have to break out your magnifying glass. Turn the bean in question under a hard light source and watch for little sparkles. If you see them, that means you've got yourself a prime bean, because that is crystallized vanillin. And vanillin is the molecular substance that we think of when we think of vanilla. Curious thing about vanillin, it has a tendency of showing up in foods that don't actually contain any vanilla whatsoever. This is especially true of beverages like white wine, champagne, sherry, scotch, bourbon, even English beer. What do all of these have in common? They spend a good bit of time inside wood. That's right. Hardwoods, especially oak, contain a lot of vanillin, which can be extracted, and that actually explains why imitation vanilla extract is so cheap. It's made from wood. Most American cooks get their vanillin in liquid form. The vanillin in this bottle of imitation vanilla extract may have come from wood pulp, or maybe even as a byproduct of the coal mining industry, but the one place it definitely did not come from is a vanilla bean. That said, it's cheap and definitely vanilla-y. And to tell you the truth, I don't mind using this stuff in baked goods like brownies, where vanilla is essentially singing backup, if you get my drift. Now, although pure vanilla extract can by law contain things like corn sweeteners and caramel colorings, the best ones contain nothing but alcohol, water, and beans. In fact, the law requires that pure vanilla extracts contain a minimum of 35% alcohol and 13.35 ounces of bean per gallon. That's what's called a single strength or 1X extract. Double or even triple extracts are available, but since recipes almost never call for them, I don't see any reason to keep them on hand. Now, natural vanilla flavoring, which contains real vanilla bean but no actual alcohol, doesn't deliver as intense a vanilla flavor, but since it's not an alcohol base, it doesn't evaporate as easily as extracts usually do, so they're good for adding to hot mixtures. Now, I should mention that you can make your own extract, but it takes a whole bunch of beans and a whole bunch of time, so I really don't advise it. As for storing beans themselves, I always keep them inside plastic bags, and then I keep the bag sealed inside an airtight container, and then I keep that in a cool, dark place. Do that, and your beans will stay, well, golden brown and delicious for up to a year. Vanilla extract is strong stuff. In large doses, it takes over whatever team it's supposed to be playing for. In small doses, however, it becomes a subtle agent of unification. Case in point, a humble fruit salad. I have here 1 Granny Smith apple, cored and diced. 1 cup of seedless grapes, halved. 1 pear, peeled, cored and diced. 10 to 12 medium strawberries, halved. 1 mango, peeled and diced. 1 banana, sliced. And 1/3 of a cup of toasted, chopped walnuts. Now, if I just mix this all together, we'll have ourselves a very nice salad. But you know, here's the thing about fruit salad. A lot of these flavors don't really get along with each other. And of course, it's actually kind of hard to eat. Vanilla extract with some friends will rescue us. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of honey. Just squeeze that right out of the bear's head and approximate. About 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a few grinds of pepper, 1/2 cup of plain yogurt, and 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. Stir to combine. There, and I think a little more black pepper would be a good thing. Now, this is a fruit salad that actually stays nicely on the fork. And it tastes fabulous. Could be a dessert, it could be, heck, it could be a meal by itself, it could be a salad, whatever you want. And if you keep it covered, it'll keep for up to a week in the refrigerator. This is delicious. I'm gonna call Sid about this one. He's gonna love this.
A salad? Well, that's great. Yeah, a small offbeat dish that'll reintroduce vanilla, but show he's got range. I can dig it. But baby, we gotta pull out the big guns. We need a mainstream blockbuster. Original yet familiar. Unique but accessible. I'm thinking dessert. What do you got? Oh, creme brulee. Oh, ooh la la. Perfect, yeah. It's sweet enough so the kids can dig into it, but sophisticated so the parents will love it. Oh, I knew we were on the same page. We're like 2 minds beating as one. Make it happen. Ha! You look fabulous. Look at you.
To make creme brulee, we will have to split and scrape 1 vanilla bean. Is there a better way to do it? I think so. Here's how. Position your bean on the board, hold your knife thusly, and place the tip right in the middle, facing away. Now use your finger as a guide and just pull the bean across the blade. Notice that I inserted the knife midway through the bean, and I'm gonna do the same going this way and just pull the bean across the knife. That way you get 2 nice equal sides like that. Now as far as getting the pulp out, turn the knife over and work one side at a time. Again, just gonna pull the bean across the back of the knife. Run through the other side. Next step, bring 1 quart of heavy cream just to a simmer with our vanilla inside. Now, you could do this in a saucepan or stock pot, but I like to use an electric kettle. I keep one around just for this kind of thing. If you do choose to go with the electric kettle option, make sure you turn off the kettle before the cream comes to a boil, or you'll have a nasty cleanup. Let this steep for 15 minutes. Now your vanilla is done steeping. Wash off the leftover bean and shove it into a vessel cleverly labeled vanilla sugar. Believe it or not, the sugar will suck considerable flavor and aroma out of that spent bean. And you can use it for all sorts of things, like making creme brulee. While the cream cools down a little bit, we'll turn our attention to 6 egg yolks. We want to whisk those until they are very light in color, and then you'll slowly drizzle on 1/2 cup of sugar, vanilla sugar if you've got it, and that's 3.5 ounces. Time to temper. Slowly, very slowly drizzle the still hot cream onto the eggs, whisking continuously. This will keep them from curdling, of course. Then pour them back into something with a pour spout. In this case, I'll use my electric kettle. Now, we turn our attention to a 325-degree oven. Add your favorite roasting pan and put a tea towel in the bottom of that. It'll prevent these 6, 7 to 8 ounce ramekins from scooting around while they're being maneuvered. Then you can pour in your mixture. Now you're only going to go up to the little line on the inside lip of those ramekins. Should have enough for 6. And once those are filled, it's time to add hot water, not boiling, just hot water to the pan. That'll keep the heat from moving into the brulees too quickly. It'll make for a smoother texture. And you're going to bake these for 40 to 45 minutes. And when you come back to extract them, you're going to think they're not done. They're too wobbly. But remember, we're talking eggs here, and if they're done in the pan, they will probably be overcooked on the plate. So pull them no matter what you think. Oh, and come back for the water after it cools. Being a male, I love creme brulee, not because it tastes good, but because I get to burn up something when I make it. Now, there are a lot of small torches on the market, some of which are actually designed to do fine soldering and brazing work, but the rest of these are little more than glorified butane lighters that are hard to fill and grotesquely underpowered, not to mention grotesquely overpriced. Besides, I can go down to the hardware store get me one of these. This is serious firepower, a nice big tank that'll last you forever, and look, safety on and off. Heck, this thing's good for, I don't know, home intruders or for creme brulee. Let's get it on. Oh, but before that, make sure that if you have one of these tanks in your house, you have one of these tanks in your house. Capiche? Now, I like to use an overturned plate as kind of a firing platform. Just park your brulee there and then sprinkle on some sugar. You don't want too much or the crust will be too thick. So I'd say probably 1/4 to 1/3 of a teaspoon here. Kind of jiggle it around to make it nice and even, and then fire up your torch. Point straight down into the center and use little circular motions just until you see the sugar start to melt and boil. And that's when I pick it up, right about there. Now pick it up and start turning it. Don't worry, you're not going to burn your hands. Just hold the torch right in the middle and rotate the brulee. This lets the liquid sugar kind of rotate around to make a nice even disc. There. And of course, this will have to cool for a couple of minutes, but you don't want to wait too long to serve it, or the sugar will get mushy. Now, if we have our shell right, when you break it, it'll sound like this. Sound guy, bring that thing in closer. There you go. Listen. That's it. Thanks, guy. No, you can't have any. Oh.
AB, this is fantastic. You are a genius.
Oh, thanks.
Now we just have to come up with an even more brilliant dish.
We do?
Yes, for the sequel. We have to strike while we're hot, make them back to back, like Back to the Future. I'm thinking vanilla creme brulee and shallots.
You know, I'm sure he's really, really tasty, but maybe this time we should just leave the recipes to me.
You're the professional.
Thanks.
Jules, stop the car! Mr. Brown is getting out here.
We're still a mile from my house.
You could use the exercise. The camera really does add 10 pounds, you know.
Okay. Excuse me, I guess. Sorry.
In your case, 15.
When included in a poaching syrup, vanilla has an uncanny ability to heighten and frame subtle sweet flavors. Let's make one, shall we? Into a heavy saucepan, pour 1 750 milliliter bottle of white wine. I prefer a Viognier or a Riesling. Add a cup of water, about 5 ounces of sugar, vanilla sugar if you've got it. It's about 3/4 of a cup. 1 whole vanilla bean, split and scraped. You're going to let that come to just up to a simmer over medium-high heat. Because of their particularly high pectin content, pears are perfect for poaching. But of course, we must remove the cores before cooking. There are plenty of devices to do this. You know, cores are everywhere, but they're clumsy, medieval devices, and you're more likely to shear off your hand than get all the seeds out. That's why I use this. Go ahead, punk. Poach my pears. Needless to say, this 11/16" paddle bit is only used for food. Well, that's not entirely true, but it is very, very, very clean. Now, here's how we do this. Grab yourself a pear and place it on a towel or some other safety device. Hold the drill nice and flat and slowly bore about halfway up into the fruit. Do you expect me to talk drill? No, Mr. Pear, I expect you to die. And if that wasn't torturous enough, time to be slowly cooked in boiling syrup. Actually, it shouldn't be boiling, so we're going to reduce that to just so it's barely rippling, and then slowly lower the pears in using their handy stems. There, the liquid will come up almost to the top, but not quite. That's fine. They'll kind of soak up. We're going to let those stay covered for 30 minutes. When they're finished, they really shouldn't look very different. They certainly shouldn't be mushy, but when a knife is pushed into the side, it should go in easily. Now, let these cool just on the counter for about half an hour. You'll be surprised how much they will firm up in that time, which is a good thing. Now, we will turn up the heat and let that cooking liquid reduce for 20 to 25 minutes, or until it's down to about a cup of golden brown elixir. Stashed in the refrigerator, your pears will last 2 to 3 days if they're covered with plastic. Once it's cooled, the syrup can go into a squirt bottle and it'll keep for over a month.
Oh, this is brilliant! It's the taste good dish of the summer. Oh, the ultimate buddy picture. I can almost see the action figure. There's just one problem, though.
What?
I don't handle pears. Maybe we could package another one of my clients. What do you say to vanilla and cauliflower?
I say it's time for me to get out. Jules, stop the car!
Jules, speed up! Oh, the turnip. Now, there's a veggie in need of a comeback special. Oh, kohlrabi! Ha! She just signed this week!